BNGO at?
I bought it at 85 cents.
And you bought 5,000 shares.
Right. And then as it went up, I sold it off, chunks at a time. I still have 120 shares left at 85 cents. But I've not put another dime back in. And I went from I owned Fuel Cell at the time. I bought this cheap stock that has an advertising issue, ACRX.
Mm-hmm.
I own BioLine RX. I own OptiNose, which is a really good company. And I own VBI Vaccines.
What's OptiNose? What's the symbol?
OPTN.
OPTN, okay.
Now, one of my clients is he's a salesperson for this company.
Right.
And what they have is a nasal spray a nasal spray for different types of sinusitis and so on and so forth. But just recently, if you research the company, it's a very unique delivery system.
Right.
And so you've got one portion in your nostril and the other portion's in your mouth, and you're blowing into it. And when you release the medication, your breath catapults the medication to the deepest part of your sinus.
Right.
Which heretofore was never reached because the things that eject the spray weren't strong enough to push it that far back into your nostril. The guy just got some big award in Europe. He's a European inventor. But the long and the short of it is, I mean, all these companies like VBI, I mean, they're strong buys. OptiNose is a strong buy.
VBI is the symbol? VBI?
No, it's VBIV.
VBIV, OPTN, and what else do you have?
BNGO.
I
have.
How many shares of BNGO do you have?
Huh?
How many shares do you have left of BNGO?
I have 620.
620. That's what I just bought. I just bought 615 more shares. Okay.
Well, I mean, the market's closed. It closed out at 609. So I'm sure tomorrow it's going to open up below 6.
Not necessarily. I think that for me, the CEO getting on a conference call or whatever to speak before earnings, he might have something very big to say. It could be very negative or it could be positive. So honestly, I got a wild imagination, man. Wild. And I think that we're going to hear something about how they can determine whether you're going to get very sick from COVID or not. Again, I have heard that nowhere, but I think based on the research I've done about what they can actually do with optical genome mapping and with looking at this nano nozzle, it seems to me that you could probably figure out whether people are going to get sick or not. And if that happens and people are going to be tested, because there's a tremendous resistance to the vaccines, by the way. If people are going to be tested or not tested, they'll be willing to pay $500 for a test. You know, I years ago when the AIDS virus was a scare, I knew this woman whose husband was a heroin addict and had AIDS. So right away, the authorities kind of came to her and said, well, you most likely have AIDS. She didn't. And they were trying to study her and figure out why she didn't have AIDS. I think this is along the same lines. We have a crisis worldwide, and some people are going to die, or can die if they catch it. Some people are not going to die, the majority, thank God. And some people are going to be very contagious, and some people are not going to be contagious at all. And we need to figure that out for humanity. And I think, honestly, I'm a wacky guy. I think that's the direction we're going here, is we're going to be able to figure this out. And it's going to be a company, if not BNGO, it'll be PacBio or Illumina or somebody like that. And that's why I'm holding, and that's why I'm buying. I just bought it $6.12. I bought 615 shares at $6.12. So now I'm well over. I've got 1,020,859 shares or something like that. So I'm not betting. I'm playing my gut. So anyway, so which direction you think you're going to go now? What's your next buy?
Well, I'm kind of tapped right now. I'm just letting it. I was going to sell off this ACRX because they've got a class action lawsuit, and it's just been sitting there. And
wait, XCELRX?
It's AC. ACRX.
ACRX. Yeah, oh yeah, don't they have like no employees? Oh no, that's ACRT.
Yeah.
What does ACRX do?
Again, it's a pharmaceutical, and they have a substitute for opioid.
Oh.
Now, I use Yahoo. That's where I started, Yahoo Business, and I've got on my phone, and my phone is really my lifeline. But if you look them up, read about them, they've got an earnings call in 27 days. They've met the fourth quarter of 2020, first quarter of 2010. They met and exceeded their projections, the consensus for EPS. But they've got this bullshit lawsuit, class action lawsuit about a misrepresentation or misprint in a promotional piece. But if you look into it, I mean, it looks like, I look at it and I say, well, how I'm doing is I'm looking at this stuff and I'm saying, okay, 52-week range is $1 to $3. So I'm generally buying things in blocks of 1,000. So I was hoping that some of these things would, I'd get in just right like I did with BNGO.
Mm-hmm.
I got in at 85, and a month or so later it's at 15.
Right. I got in at 63 cents, held that, and then bought 900,000 shares at like $1, but then I sold 100,000 shares at $11. Then I took that money and I invested in some other stocks, which I did okay with.
So, I mean, I had my little 6,000 up to 30 grand, but I'm not one to jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. I'm kind of like looking for this thing to develop. So, they're talking, I see all this positive news come out every day about BNGO. And I can say to myself, okay, now I'm down to 620 shares because I sold this stuff off to buy other opportunities. So, I mean, I took a couple of stocks, I parlayed it into, and I have one mutual fund that I sell to my clients, so I have my money in that as well. And it's a Fidelity mutual fund. But the rest of them, I had at one time 10 different positions, and and then recently I pulled 10 grand out, paid off some debt. I'd like to get, build up a decent account. And we made that comment. But again, I understand how I look at this stuff is if I could buy it at 25 cents and buy enough of it, like 10,000 shares or 20,000 shares, and get a stock to explode, buy it just right, to watch it explode. Once you've got the capital to come back and reinvest, it's easy. Yeah, buy 100,000 shares. Things got to go up 2 cents and make thousands.
Yeah. No, I think that you have to be very careful. Now, after I sold out of iBio, I made the mistakes. Man, I was chasing stocks all over the place. Losing 50,000. losing 100,000, and then I finally caught my breath and I realized now I'm a very inexperienced trader, but I think that you got to really. There's a lot of fraud out there, a lot of fraud. I literally go to the people's buildings and I sit outside and I really try to be an eye spy to try to figure out what's going on. BNGO, I can't find anything negative at this point. So.
Well, you'd like to think that doesn't exist in terms of.
Oh my God, it exists so much. You got to be careful, man. These people are criminals. I worked for a company in which the guy was faking the sales. I quit the company. I had 240,000 shares of options. The stock went from $2 to $32. I quit. My ex-wife hated me. But guess what? The FBI raided the place, 4 years later. So my gut instinct is pretty good.
Well, what's your gut on BNGO?
I think it's a great company. I'm telling you, I think that I think that this company is going to come up with something really big, really big. The negatives on BNGO are simple. If someone else comes out with a better technology, they're screwed. Right now, the price is down only because the shorts came after it saying, wait a second, it went from 50 cents to $15. This is easy. We can sell this idea. Okay? Shorts like to sell ideas. Okay? So they're selling the idea that the stock is worth much less. And or, okay, just like when you program, they're accumulating it because they know it's not a crap company. We're talking about God stuff, man. I survived 2 heart attacks. The doctors couldn't figure out why I survived. I don't know. Maybe I got a will to live gene. I'm a rare person. And I don't know, man. I'm alive for some reason. There's no reason I should be alive medically, but I'm alive. And I think it goes beyond just, okay, your genes are made up like this. I think there could be some mental aspects of it, spiritual aspects. I don't know. But I know that where these companies are going, BNGO, PacBio, Illumina, and then this new company coming out of Duke University. This is the real deal. This is something that we're going to find out a lot about ourselves and about the difference between us all. It's going to be huge. This is ground floor. You're at the ground floor when you're investing with BNGO. And what I would recommend you do with the other companies, OPTN, ACRX, and what was that? VBI.
Yeah, VBI. That's VBI vaccines.
VBI vaccines. I'd be very careful because everybody knows that everybody wants something to do with vaccines. Now, did BNGO come out and make some statements that were false? No, they didn't. So.
But where do you do your research?
Right in my office. And then I told you, I go to the company. I call people up. I've got friends that are doctors. I talk to everyone. Everyone. And I do my own style of research, which is a lot of face-to-face. I read people's faces. I look at body language. I look at the science. I'm not a scientist, although I've been to the patent office several times myself. And I don't mean just visiting. I mean with patents. Listen, I don't recommend you follow me. I just say what I feel.
No, well, I mean, I'm not looking to follow anyone, but what I look to do is if somebody says they're successful, I take them at face value. If you're not successful, who are you fooling? You may be fooling me, but, what are you doing for you? Who knows what hole you're in. But the point is that, I'm interested in what people do. I'm interested in But when I was in the food industry, I was a little guy. I was a nothing. And I took a nothing company and brought it to $100 million in a very niche market, and was chased after by 3 major companies because I had captured an attitude and an approach to doing business that was, I mimicked. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I didn't have the capital to go out and reinvent the wheel. So I was a poor man's scientist. I went and did what I had to do, grew my business and sold it, made a profit. But, made a profit for everybody else, and I took all the hits for the team. So, and it's a long story. But I just, the first part of the fact that you're not bullshit is you put your number up there.
That's
and
right.
I'm sure you get a lot of phone calls from
very few,
not only interested people like myself, but a whole basket full of assholes.
I get, I'll tell you exactly. I get calls from around the world. Some people, if I said like ACRT I bought, I had 2 million shares of that. And people were following me, and they made a lot of money. I sold out at $1.10 or whatever. I don't stick around for the long haul. And I would just say that we all are different people, but collectively we're very smart. And making a phone call like this will make you smarter. Just me taking the time to speak to you will make me smarter. I wrote down the stocks that you're in, and I'll look into them. But most of all, you gotta go with your own gut. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone. Go with your own gut.
Well, I used to do a lot of work with a friend of mine who's a broker. He's made tons and tons of money, but I can't because of my, I'm a registered guy, so I don't, and I never did investing on my own. It was never my forte. I've seemed to, with COVID, fall into it because I needed to start finding another way to make money. I just did the fire and forget method of investing. But when I was in business and invested with my friend, I was doing puts and calls and, owning stock and selling options against my stock and picking up a few dollars here and there. But he did all the thinking because he knew all the ins and outs. He would just call me and say to me, here's what you need to do. Let's do it. So I would do it. Now I'm basically on my own, and sometimes it is scary, not knowing what's what.
Yeah, well, don't be afraid of anything, dude. You're 71 years old. You know what you should be afraid of? Not finding tomorrow.
Well, see, I'm a former Marine, and I've had 2 near-death experiences in my lifetime. And I can assure you, laddie, that dying is easy.
Oh, yeah.
Living is hard and dangerous.
Yes, I agree. And thank you for serving, by the way.
I didn't say it because of that, but...
No. I hang with a lot of Marines. A lot of not so accomplished Marines I work next to on the roof.
Are you still roofing?
I am. I was just on a roof an hour ago. I'm still roofing. I'm still sleeping on a $65 cot, in my office. I don't live any life of luxury. I'm just kind of proud of myself, man.
Hey, there's no reason not to be.
I'm very proud of myself. I hope you'll go back online and say, hey, I spoke to Mark. Anybody can call me. I'm always available. I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't like liars, though. When people don't pick up the phone and call, you kind of know they're liars. My phone number is there to help people, not to hurt people.
The big part of these boards is trying to discern what's bullshit and what's fact.
Exactly. And guess what? The shorts are very, very upset that I've been on YouTube. I've been interviewed by, some of these YouTubers. I showed a YouTuber my account. There's no reason to bullshit. I'm here. This is who I am.
Well, I've always said, if you can do what you say you can do, it's not bragging.
Yeah, exactly. The best compliment I ever got was from a guy named Joe. I won't say his last name in case he doesn't want to be known. He's a Marine sniper. And he said to me, man, you're like a spook. You just know how to get in and out and get things done. I said, thanks, Joe. Thank you very much.
That's what I did back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
But we weren't called snipers back then. We were called scout snipers. It was a 2, 4, or 6-man team.
Yeah.
And depending upon how far out you went was the number of people that went with you.
Right. Right.
But,
I just have a way of getting information out of people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear you.
And, you know, Joe and I are very close still to this day. He's a roofer too. But anyway, so I want to be online for this meeting for BNGO.
Sure.
And you just feel free to call me anytime. And I know your portfolio is going to grow. I'm positive. Just hang in there. My call on this situation with BNGO is that you have to be very patient, but I think we're going to find out some really big stuff that only BNGO can do. And if people start getting tested to actually find out if they should get the vaccine or if the vaccine is going to affect them a certain way or if they're still susceptible, the amount of charges over and over again for the tests are going to make BNGO a massive, massive company without them doing much except supplying the consumables. And I think that's the key to this company. And or providing those tests for free and owning the data. That's probably where the biggest value is. So anyway, have a wonderful day. And please feel free to call me anytime. God bless and good luck, and thanks again so much for serving. I can't say it enough. You got it. All right, buddy.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was just a random call that I get from people. I'm not going to disclose his name. But there's good people out there that are investing their money. Obviously, you see I'm watching Auspicious Descent, and I'm having a tough time keeping my face on the camera. But people are concerned with their investments. And collaborating is the big word among startups. It's the big word about business. Collaborating with investing is important too. Now, do I believe everything the man said? I don't know. I have to think about it. Should you believe everything I say? I think you better think about it. Should you believe everything that Auspicious Descent says? You better think about it. But if you're not listening, if you're not paying attention, you're going to lose. That's all I have for you right now today. You've heard my opinion telling this man that called me. He actually found my number on the Yahoo board. This kid, Auspicious Descent, is doing a hell of a job. He's really digging and digging and digging. He's just a regular guy, but I can't explain how much information I get from him. And I don't see his agenda other than becoming a great YouTuber, and he is doing that. So I'll talk to you again later, guys. BNGO. Go, go, go. But don't rah, rah, rah it. Just find out if it's real. I'm going to listen to the conference call. Thanks. Bye.